city of Charlotte, North Carolina, you are watching ASUN Women's Basketball live on ESPN Plus as the Queen's University of Charlotte Royals go out of the D1 ranks for the third time this season as they welcome NAIA squad, the Columbia College Koalas, here on ESPN Plus. And with that, we welcome you into Curry Arena alongside head coach of Providence Day High School, Josh Springer, 10-time state champion. My name is John Gross. Happy to have you with us today. And Josh, a good chance for Queens to have a bounce-back performance after a tough loss last time out.
Absolutely. The other night, first half dominating performance against Presbyterian, built a 20-point lead, and then unfortunately gave it away in the second half. I know they're eager to get back on the court and take it out on Columbia.
Well, we'll see how this Queens team does respond. And chances are, if they respond well, a lot of it will come on the shoulders of Nicole Gwynn.
Yeah, Nikki Gwynn has been unbelievable beyond the arc. She starts off the season with 20-plus against LSU. They're going to need that sizzling shooting again today.
Gwynn double figures in 8 of 9 games this season, the leading scorer with 17-plus points per game for the Royals. She leads the way for this team as we get a look at the starting lineup brought to you by Atrium Health. This is the starting 5 first for the Royals.
Well, we've talked a lot about Gwynn all season long, John. The one player that jumps out for me here early here is Allie Johnson. She's been really consistent for them. Last year did an outstanding job at the point, and this year even better decision-making, an elite defender, and every great team starts with a savvy, level-headed point guard who genuinely wants to get everybody else involved. Allie Johnson does that.
Meanwhile, this is a look at the starting 5 for the visiting Koalas, brought to you by Atrium Health.
Well, there's a tall task today for Columbia. What a great opportunity to play a Division I opponent, but as far as the X's and O's, if they want any chance today at all, it's going to be on the back of C.C. Wells, 1,000-point scorer.
Yeah, this is a team out of the NAIA level at 8-5 of the season, winners of 3 straight games. And they are led by a second-year head coach in J.J. Green, who has already made his imprint felt on this program.
Absolutely. When we talked to Coach Green before the game today, he said, look, in 2 years, last year we won 10 games. This year we've already got 8 wins. We're raising the bar every day. He's brought in 17 new players in 2 years to change the culture.
Meanwhile, Jen Brown leads the way for Queens, her 4th season, and again a chance for her team to have a get-right game today.
Yeah, and in talking to Coach Brown, she says this year's all about elevate. How are we elevating all facets of our program? Congratulations, Jen Brown, on that new 4-year contract.
That is for sure. Jen Brown leads the way for the Royals. Kat Biancardi has more on the Queens Royals.
The Royals are looking to bounce back after their first home loss of the season against Presbyterian College. The Royals led by as many as 22 points. And with that loss, Coach Jen Brown emphasized the importance of playing a full 40 minutes of basketball, focused and united. And that's exactly what they hope to execute today.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat. As we get set for the 4-5 Royals and the 8-5 Koalas of Columbia College. Thrilled to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon. As you put it before we got on air, it's perfect basketball weather. It's raining outside, but it's lovely in here. As the opening tip is controlled by the Koalas' C.C. Wells. You mentioned her in the pregame, a 1,000-point score for the visitors today. Straight on 3, Leah Page off the iron, and Hawa Balde collects the rebound for Queens. Royals coming off of a 68-60 loss against Presbyterian. Queens led by as many as 22 in that second quarter as Brown is fouled, and she will shoot 2.
Beautiful screen right there by Hawa Balde in the high post. Brown's kicking herself because that should have been an easy and one right there. There was marginal contact. The Royals got the benefit of the call, but honestly, it didn't affect the layup at all.
Kinley Brown, a senior from Texas, 8 of 8, make that 9 of 9 from the free throw line. And Josh, she's coming off of the best game of her career, 16 and 9. You'd imagine the confidence is through the roof right now.
Her confidence is sky high, and Coach Brown has to be thrilled. The Royals were 10 for 10 from the charity stripe on Wednesday, now 2 for 2 today, still 100%.
And if you go back the last 2 games, in fact, 22 of 23 from the free throw line. That's a coach's dream, right?
As a coach, I will take that every single night of the week.
Wareborn turned away by Nikki Gwynn.
Early on here, I'm really impressed with Columbia's ball movement. Their ball reversal has been outstanding. They're getting ball and player movement. Good attack on the weak side.
It's a Columbia College team coming from the NAIA level out of the Appalachian Athletic Conference. They're 8-5 in the season. This is actually an exhibition game for the Koalas, so it will not count for the record and a shot clock violation.
Right there, Columbia didn't realize out of the set piece, out of the out-of-bounds play that they had limited time on the clock. Ultimately, that's the point guard's responsibility, always.
This is the third non-D1 opponent that Queens has faced this year. They've won the first two by an average of 55 points per game. As Brisker comes up short of the floater, and Page collects the rebound. Here is Cece Wells. Off the window too much, and Balde collects her second rebound. Gwynn, deep three. An air ball, that's gonna head down to the Koalas.
John, it was too tempting. Allie Johnson set the table. Beautiful pass in the corner to Brown. Brown comes up to Gwynn. She should have shot it in rhythm. We tell players all the time, if you don't shoot it in rhythm, let it go. She double clutched, and you knew the second one didn't have a chance.
You figure she's one of those green light type of players, right?
Always. When you're leading the A-Sun in three-point shooting, you have the green light every day.
Well, you want to talk three-point shooting, and Naya Muhammad cans the triple. She's the leading scorer for this Koalas team as a freshman.
Season high 27 points already, 37% from the arc. Columbia hanging in early. Coach talked about, can we weather the early storm?
Balde double teamed on the inside, and Balde is fouled. That's going to be on the floor. You'd imagine that Columbia might have some issue with the size on the inside for Queens.
Well, you know what? They can tape their two forwards together, and I'm not sure they're as tall as Hawa Balde is right there with the size that she has. And so if she keeps the ball high, she should have a dominant performance on the glass and finishing in the paint.
They're actually going to say that's in the act of shooting. So 2 free throws for Hawa Balde. This is going to be her first free throw attempt of this season.
John, that might be the most shocking stat I hear all day. How can a player be 6'4", get as many minutes as she does, and this is her first free throw of the season? And I'll tell you why. They don't run a lot for her on the offensive end. She's top 5 in the conference in blocking shots, and so almost everything she gets is on offensive rebounds.
Well, on cue, an offensive rebound as she finds Johnson. Off of the jumper, and a loose ball is picked up by Peyton Brookhaver. Here is Cece Wells, the senior, one of only a handful of players who has been with this program since before J.J. Green got here, as Balde has another rebound. Gwynn, separation, off the window and in.
Great body control by Gwynn, obviously known as a three-point shooter. They run her off the arc, and she knocks it down in the mid-range.
Gwynn, the leading scorer for this team, as Page is off on the triple. Here is Gwynn, down the lane, bounces in.
Can you be a 3-level scorer as a perimeter player? We already know she's a marksman from the arc. Last time down was in the paint, and this time she goes all the way to the rim. That means you're really hard to guard.
What a tremendous addition she has been for Jen Brown. A transfer portal get, transfer from South Carolina State. Wells, place the 3, banks open.
Even on Sunday in Charlotte.
And that ties it up, so a couple of triples for Columbia, keeping the Koalas in this one. Straight on 3 from Brown, missed everything. And mass substitutions for Queens, 5 in, 5 out for the Royals. Jordan Weaver comes on, Amari Davis, Caitlin Adams, who did not play last game, enters. Kennedy Fuller, who only played 2 minutes against Presbyterian, and Tamia Shaw, all on for the Royals.
Coach Brown talked to me recently about, she said, Josh, this is the first year where I really feel 1 to 15 we have competitive practices. What does that mean? That means you can expect to see 12, 14 players play on game day. She's 10 deep, 4 minutes in.
This only the second season of the D1 ranks, so Jen Brown trying to build out that roster, made some additions in the offseason. 7 newcomers, 5 transfers. As Wells puts up the corner 3, too much on it, but it's off the hands of Caitlin Adams. It's going to stay right here.
John, I want to talk about Columbia's offense here. They're running what's called a pistol offense. Mark Few, men's coach at Gonzaga. Dribble weave to the wing, they hand off, set an immediate ball screen. They're doing a nice job of flipping sides of the floor to get open looks.
Wells, her feet intercepted. Here is Weaver. Shaw down the lane, lost it, able to scoop it back up. Back in from Weaver, and she flips it over the iron.
Beautiful job of Weaver getting deep post position. She scored before she caught it, meaning she sealed 6 inches from the rim, and the shot was the easy part.
Shaw on the takeaway. In transition, all the way to the basket.
We've got delay of game warning right there on Queens. I know you're excited when you get a steal in a bucket. You can't touch the ball when it goes through the net because you're preventing the other team from starting their own transition offense. First one's a warning, second one's a technical foul.
And you see Tamia Shaw, she was the one who knocked it away. So the bucket still goes. And Tysonia Lowe now on the floor for the Koalas, second leading scorer, as Muhammad is off with a 3. And a long rebound brought in by Davis. Davis sidesteps, whistles, and an offensive. Queens leads it by 4. Columbia College hanging in there early in the Queen City.
This is how it feels to live purposefully, to live gracefully. When you have a health partner who doesn't just treat part of you, they care for all of you. That's why more people prefer Atrium Health, because unrivaled care is easier, more accessible, and more complete than ever before. Because the only way to be your best self is with your best health. That's what it means to live meaningfully, to live joyfully, to live fully.
From the bluegrass of Kentucky, the Arkansas River, to the beautiful beaches of Florida. From the bustling streets of Nashville to the soulful sounds of Muscle Shoals and its vibrant cities. Fueled by growth, the Atlantic Sun operates in the fastest growing region in America and broadcasts in over 16 million homes. We're everywhere you want to be, with access to 9 of the nation's top 80 media markets, including an impressive 6 in the top 50. Our 12-member institutions provide every collegiate experience from public to private to faith-based. All of our member institutions are located in the top 30 states with the most rapid growth. So join us, because we're not just a stop along the journey. The Atlantic Sun is the destination.
Before a city turns to you for answers, before the stories that need telling are told, and our nation's biggest companies look to you to make their next big move. Whenever, however, you're called upon to step up, Queens will prepare you to do just that. Because here, Royals rise.
Back here in the Queen City, and let's dive into our keys to the game, brought to you by Kramer Group Realty.
Well, the first one's 4 quarters of consistency. The other night, 2 great quarters against Presbyterian, 2 awful quarters, went home with a loss. And then the second one, Coach Brown's program's always been built on run, run, run. Better athletes, deeper team, leads to transition baskets.
Well, so far it's been Queens in the driver's seat, but the Koalas hanging in there for Columbia College. Entry feed, and a blocking foul call as Tamira Davis will enter the free throw line. And you were talking during the break, you run this offense at Providence Day.
Yeah, we started looking at it this summer, and you'll see right here, a beautiful ball screen on the weak side. The post player dives to the basket, late rotation by Queens. And so what they're doing is getting a pick and roll on one side of the floor. The opposite post player steps out. They get a ball reversal, and again, it's a ball screen continuity. Again, you're constantly moving the help defense. If you can do that as a good offense, you get late rotations, leads to fouls, leads to Columbia getting to the line.
So Tamira Davis good in the first, as she just rims off on the second. Shaw, runner, that goes. Nia Shaw, scoreless in 5 minutes against Presbyterian, on the board early against Columbia. Davis, read well by Weaver. Weaver floats it ahead. Underneath, it's Adams and the whistle.
Just beautiful vision by Weaver. You expect a pass like that from a point guard, but when your power forward steals the ball, watch this on the break. Her timing is perfect. She throws the lead pass ahead right over the defender, great head fake, and a beautiful finish inside there by Adams.
So the freshman Adams to the free throw line. She is 1 for 2 from the line this season. Didn't play last game against Presbyterian, and unable to convert to the three-point play.
Guess they won't be 100% today from the free throw line.
No, a couple of misses from the stripe so far for the Royals, as Davis is left wide open and clanks the 3-ball. Shaw down the lane, flip shot comes up a little too strong, and Weaver lost it. Here's Lowe into the contact, and it's an offensive.
This is a coach's dream right here. Defensive player, has the physicality, she's straight up. Most importantly, she's got the toughness to take it. Absolutely the right call. The defender was set in a vertical plane. Big momentum play for Queens.
So it's an offensive foul against Tysonia Lowe. It was drawn by Kennedy Fuller. Who has the basketball, the junior from Virginia. Adams down the lane, using the window.
Beautiful Euro step by Adams. Columbia switched to a zone defense there, which is a really smart move with Gwynn out of the game, but Adams had beautiful body control on the short runner.
And Queens has opened up its largest lead of the game, a 6-0 run, as the Royals now lead it by 9. 3-ball from Warebon off the iron, offensive board. There's Lowe in the stick back.
Shaw's done a great job of pushing tempo for Queens, but right there she failed to block out, which gave the visitors an easy deuce.
And Sonia Lowe, J.J. Green talked about her toughness, that she's such a hard worker. That's the offensive rebound and the finish. Here's an open look for Fuller. And air ball and an offensive rebound. Adams, kick out, Shaw, open look. Too much. Here is Lowe in the rebound. Numbers for the Koalas. Lowe turned away, but a whistle. And Tysonia Lowe will head to the free throw line.
John, what's interesting, before the game, we talked to Coach Green and we said, what do you want your program to be about? He said, we want to run. Well, every coach in America says that. Not every, only 94%. But then he paused and he said, that might look a little different today against Queens with their athletes. But kudos to their players right there. They had a 3-on-1 break and they said, no, this is who we are. We're going to do it against a Division I team or an NAIA team. Nice job getting to the rim, getting to the free throw line.
guessing Tony Bennett is like the one coach who, he's part of that 6%, right?
So I grew up in Wisconsin. Dick Bennett basketball camps, Tony Bennett basketball camps. Fast break basketball was not high on the priority list there, but doggone it, we learned how to play defense and pack line defense. And by the way, Jen Brown loves Dick Bennett and the pack line man-to-man defense.
Well, that free throw falls for Tysonia Lowe. And we've seen at times this season, Queens has been a really good team defensively. The first half against Presbyterian was one of the best defensive halves we've seen from them all season.
Absolutely. In the game I did a couple weeks ago where they played Wesley, and they limited Wesley into 7 points the entire half.
That's pretty good, right?
We'll take that. Looks like a football score.
Starters back in for Queens. Here's Gwynn from the corner. Left it short. Another rebound for Lowe. And is ready. The third board for Tysonia Lowe, whose nickname is Sunshine, which is a fantastic nickname.
Love it.
And an Aaron Feed heads to the bench. Going to be Queens basketball.
So Columbia's gone zone the last few possessions here, trying to disrupt the rhythm of the Royals. Mistake was made last time when nobody was out by Nikki Gwynn. I don't care if you're playing man or zone. There needs to be a defender next to number 3 in white at all times on the arc.
How do you want to see Queens attack this 3-2?
Well, I want to get a ball reversal and I want to attack middle. And they did a nice job there with a guard-to-guard pass across the timeline. Gwynn does a nice job. She's doing it all today. She's gotten to the rim. She's had a mid-range game, now an offensive putback.
6 points, 2 rebounds for Nikki Gwynn, the standout guard for Queens. Dribble drive from Deasia Feaster, and one.
So the scouting report says Hawa Balde's one of the top 5 shot blockers. No problem. We're going to shot fake, go right by, use that aggressiveness against her, and then get an and one. Beautiful job there by Columbia. Again, show and go. Beautiful finish right there for the visitors again.
So the sophomore Feaster to the line where she has struggled. Just 40% to the season, but she knocks down that free throw. And after trailing by as many as 9, this deficit now down to 5 for the Koalas as we enter the final minute of this first quarter. Open look for Weaver. Silky.
I think that's a tough shot. If I'm Columbia, I'm willing to give that up. A long 2 along the baseline, and credit Weaver for making it look smooth.
4 points for Weaver. A true stat stuffer. And an Aaron Feed from Tamira Davis gives it back to the Royals.
Fan appreciation night. That's 2 passes in the last 3 minutes to the cheerleaders, John.
Turnover for the Koalas, who are, by the way, the only team with the nickname Koalas in the United States.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say the definition of unique. Brown gets into that soft spot, can't hit the jumper. And Johnson, the interception. Brisker. Back to Johnson, open 3. Clanks off, Lowe has the rebound. And we will head to the second quarter. A 20-13 lead for Queens on this Sunday afternoon in Charlotte. Back after this on ESPN+.